Charli D'amelio
Yes.
is a super interesting character to me. She's the most famous person on TikTok. She's got the most followers, I think as of right now when we're recording this, I believe that to be true. And now she's got a television show. I think the aim was to showcase Charli and her family and her sister Dixie in a little bit more of a human light, get a little bit more 360 picture on what's going on and possibly start a Kardashian-like empire through reality TV. It's pretty bad television show as far as reality shows go. It's poorly edited, I think, and, it's not extraordinarily interesting. I'm, of course, not the target market for Charli, but I'm interested by Charli because I'm interested in her story.
She seems like a good girl.
Seems like a perfectly pleasant person to me. And now we can talk about, privilege and all that other junk, but I don't think they were millionaires before Charli started getting noticed, and certainly not before she was a TikTok star. And now she is a full-blown media star.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that the show is now highlighting is her struggles with this kind of stardom.
Well, it's got to be hard to be on.
Yes.
Like all the time.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And there are a lot of people on the internet who are haters. There's always haters.
We have haters.
We have plenty of them. And they're a lot more vocal than the people who love us, actually. And that's just the way that the internet goes.
Yep.
Because when you're a keyboard warrior and you can hide behind the keyboard, right? Then whatever. And when you put yourself out there like we do, you just kind of expect it. But we're also up there in age. We're not 17 years old.
Yes.
And so we have a little bit more perspective on life.
Or 19.
I'm 26. One of the things that I have taken away from watching the show, just in an effort to get, more informed for here on the commercial break, is that Charli seems to be under a whole shit ton of pressure.
Yeah.
And there doesn't seem to be a release valve for her, and no one's offering her an escape route. People on the internet then say, well, if you're going to be such a crybaby, then just go away. Like, be a normal human being. She can't. You won't let her. And neither will the people around her. It doesn't work like that, because everyone is telling her that you only have 15 minutes and you got to take as much advantage of it as possible. You can sleep when you're old, right? Essentially is what I believe that they're saying to her. And from the show, which obviously is not filmed 24/7, and I don't know every word that was ever said, it doesn't appear that anyone, like her parents, her manager, or the people around her guiding her career, are allowing her a fucking break.
Yep.
This girl is having a mental breakdown live in front of hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah.
And no one seems to give a shit. They sit there and comfort her and say, oh, Charli, it's okay. You're allowed to feel the way that you feel, but please keep on trucking because we need the fucking money. I don't know her parents. I'm not saying I'm sure that they're just as oddly taken by this as everybody else is. They've been thrown into this just like Charli has.
Yeah, nobody expected it.
No one expected it.
She was just doing her dance moves.
Yeah. Now they're living in a $20 million house in LA, and they're literally living off the teat of the commercials and promotions and stuff that she's doing. How do you stop that train? You can't stop that train. It won't stop. The paparazzi won't stop. The talent managers won't stop. She's going to always feel guilty that she's not feeding someone in her family if she says no to something.
True.
The pressure is unbelievable. We do not have Walmart coming to us or whatever, Revlon coming to us and asking
Major
us
brands,
we don't have people pressuring us for $1 million contracts. We have very small sponsor agreements. And I kind of feel guilty if I have to say no to one for one reason or the other. I can't imagine the pressure that this girl feels.
That's a lot, and at a young age.
Agreed. Someone has to, if I were her parents, and I'm not, but if I were her parent, and I don't know, I'll never know unless my children become Charli D'amelio, the most famous TikTok star that ever lived. If I were her parents, I wouldn't just comfort her. I would say, we can stop this now.
Yeah,
we can go live in Spain.
Anytime you want.
Yeah,
let's
we have enough
take
money.
what we've got and go.
Remember that 2-bedroom house we were living in?
Yeah.
We'll go live in Mallorca in a 2-bedroom house for the rest of our entire lives, and we'll be happy. Or you can grow up somewhere else, or we can just stop all this the best that we know how. It'll never really stop, but we can try and give you some normalcy and protect you from the suffering that she's clearly going through.
Yeah, I mean, mental health is no joke, really.
Absolutely
You've got
not.
to take care of that. You can't let it get too far out of control, because the next thing you know, you're setting things on fire and cutting all your hair off and going.
This will, that's right. And just like Britney Spears did.
Yes.
This will only get worse as the internet proliferates the 15 minutes of fame syndrome that goes on with younger and younger stars and children. There are kids as young as 7 that have hundreds of millions of followers on YouTube.
It's wild.
It's absolutely
just
wild.
for opening presents.
Yeah. I know, just for opening fucking eggs. I can do that. Let me do that.
Let's do this.
I want to do that. Yeah. My son would love me if I just opened eggs all day long. He would just be, I would be the king of everything. Charli is a new brand of celebrity, one that comes out of nowhere and rockets huge. It's not like the old days where you kind of had to you had to ramp up, but how many lessons have to be learned from child stars and children stars before,
and you actually had a private life. Now she just, I don't think has any kind of private life, and that's gotta be tough.
None. She can't. She's becoming agoraphobic from the stuff that I watched. She's almost agoraphobic, which means you're afraid to go outside because she's too stressed out about being picked apart every time she just tries to be a normal person, like going to the shopping mall or whatever. And some people might argue, well, she's not a normal person. She's got millions of dollars and she's followers and she asked for it. Maybe she did. But sometimes we ask for things and then there are unintended consequences. The fortunate part is that us people who really aren't noticed by anybody, we can do anything we want to do in relative anonymity. Charli doesn't have that. I am not saying, oh, me, poor me, Charli. I'm saying that I can clearly see that just from being an observer, that Charli needs an escape route here. And at least I don't see where they're giving him one here. I do feel a bit of empathy for Charli and in some sense the people around her that are just kind of stuck on this train that is not going to stop until it crashes. That's the way. That's the American way. Yeah, that's the American way. Except for those fucking Kardashians. They have 9 lives. They just keep going.
They rode.
They were ready. They were born ready to be children. Stars and
just
now
in front of a camera and
it's unbelievable.
Live their life.
Isn't it weird how they have navigated this whole thing without one major breakdown? Yeah. Except for, that Scott Disick guy. Yeah. He's a fucking clown. Yeah. And so, Charli, I can't necessarily say that your television show is all that fantastic. It's not. The Kardashians is actually so much better, in my opinion. But it does give us a glimpse. And I do have empathy for you. I hope you can figure out a way through this. That's our opinion.
Yep.
And no one seems to like our opinion, so I'm sure we'll get plenty.
We love feedback, though.
I'm sure we'll get plenty. I'm sure we'll trigger somebody out there. I'm just going to go over and drive my Volvo.
Your Subaru.
My Subaru.